issue an extreme cold warning.
The National Weather Service will issue extreme cold warnings when temperatures reach 30 below freezing within a 12 to 36 hour period. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
The Packers have a new kicker. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Packers have signed a new place kicker. He's 33-year-old Brandon McManus, who was with the Denver Broncos for 8 seasons. In 2023, McManus was accused of sexual assault by 2 flight attendants during a Jaguars team flight to London. The NFL investigated and cleared McManus of any charges. The Packers releasing their rookie kicker, Braden Narveson, who led the league in missed field goals with 5 in 6 games. College football. The Badgers head to Evanston to face the Northwestern Wildcats. Now, last November, Northwestern beat Wisconsin 24-10. This week's game to be played at a temporary stadium while Ryan Field is being rebuilt. Luke Fickell.
Whatever they ask us to play or tell us to play, we'll play. If it's a parking lot, we'll play in the parking lot. I don't think we got a whole lot to say after, how we performed and how we played last year. So I could care less where we're playing at. And anytime you go on the road in the Big Ten, you're going to have to handle some things, whether it's, a new stadium, whether it's the wind, whether it's a locker room. It is what it is.
That's Badgers head coach Luke Fickell. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
This is your local civic media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, low in the low 30s. Sunny, breezy, and warmer tomorrow, high low 60s. Sunny with the wind picking up for Friday, high upper 60s. A slight rain chance for Friday night into early Saturday. The weekend temps will stay mild. It's 55 right now.
Do you have a home you'd like to rent out but don't know where to start? Consider Simple Life Rentals, a property management company partnered with booking sites like Airbnb and Expedia, amplifying your home's exposure to the marketplace. Simple Life Rentals screens guests and creates an owner portal with analytics, rental agreements, and legal guidelines. We give you complete visibility into how your managers do it, ensuring your property is well maintained and maximizing your return on investment. Get peace of mind. SimpleLifeRentals.com.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Joint Council 389, based here in Milwaukee. They've endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz for president and vice president.
Trump offers nothing to a regular working class person. Talking about not taxing tips and not taxing overtime. Well, you don't have to tax overtime if there is no more overtime. That's in his Project 2025.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app. Maggie Dawn.
Next, I'll be joined by my Thursday guest host, Tom Paulswitz, and our special guest, Joe Fox from Planned Parenthood Advocates of Wisconsin, talking.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who has a black and white plasma TV, Pete Schwaba.
Hello. I am Pete Schwaba, your host for Nite on this Wednesday night. Not just Wednesday. I tend to host a show every night. Great to have you with me on this Wednesday night as we barrel through this week, which seems like the first, it's definitely the first full week of fall, I think, in terms of temperature. Oh, it's supposed to get warmer tomorrow. Did you hear that, Conrad?
I did not.
Back in the mid to high 60s the rest of the week. This is Wisconsin, right? In northern Wisconsin, mid to high 60s in mid to late October.
You know what I just did today? I put the cover on my AC and everything today.
What do you? Oh, so you're shutting it down?
I shut it down because it was really, really cold in my apartment yesterday. I had 4 blankets on when I went.
So you had a draft coming through where the air conditioning is?
Yeah, and I was like, "Why is it so cold in here? I have all the windows shut."
Okay.
And the air is just going through the AC the whole time, pretty much.
Look at you being a responsible homeowner. That's fantastic. Fun show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to talk. There's a great event happening north of here, about 45, 50 minutes in Marinette, my hood. That's where I live, and the Marinette Community Rec Center is putting on a great event November 2nd. Tickets are starting to sell. We're going to give some tickets away tonight on the show. It's called Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, and it's at the Marinette Community Rec Center happening November 2nd. Sean Katzbeck from the Rec Center will be here. He's the marketing director. He's the one who put it all together with help, of course, but Sean does great work up there. He's going to jump on with us tonight at 6:35 and tell us all about this fun event. There's going to be, it's a huge facility, especially for a town the size of Marinette. They're going to have a cook-off, I think, with beef. Beef is pretty popular, Conrad. A lot of people like beef.
I like beef.
So you should go to, listen, this event has your name on it. You can, they're going to have a cook-off. Have you ever been part of that?
I can't say I have.
Either
no.
cooking or eating?
I'll be on the eating end. The cooking,
Okay.
no one will want to eat the food that I make, so.
What do you make? Like, seriously, do you eat out all the time? Like, you're a young
No.
single guy. Do you eat in your apartment? Do you make food? Do you go out? What do you do?
I make food.
Okay.
I say I'm like a C tier cook. Like
C, like you're the grade of C?
I can cook stuff that I'll enjoy, but I don't know if other people will enjoy it.
What are we talking about? Are you like a MacGyver? Like you'll get like a piece of cheese and a pretzel, and a half a can of tuna,
No.
like that kind of stuff? Or do you make like real recipes?
I can't say I actually like make real recipes.
Okay.
I will like make, like steak, chicken, all of that type of stuff.
Oh, that's good.
I won't go off a recipe or anything. I'll use my own seasoning and stuff.
Nice.
I never really go into a cookbook and look for a recipe though.
That's how genius is made. So, well, that's good. I'm impressed that you cook though. That's good. it's better for you health
Oh,
wise.
yeah.
And it saves you a ton of money.
Yes, it does.
Because even fast food now, you can't leave McDonald's without dropping $15.
I mean, there actually is. you go on the McDonald's app.
Okay.
And they have a deal for you every single day.
What's the deal?
They have like a 20% off, like a free sandwich with it or something.
Too much math. Already bored. No, seriously. Like how much? Okay, with the app, what you're saying? If you ordered their deal, what are you paying?
Let's see. I haven't ordered from there in a long time, but my buddy uses it all the time, and he says it saves him I'd say on average $3.
Okay, so $12 instead of 15, maybe 10 instead of 13. Still cheaper to eat at home, though, right?
Yeah, well,
a lot healthier.
Yeah, definitely a lot healthier.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that McDonald's app. They don't have salads there anymore. Do you know that?
They don't?
No,
Really?
They got rid of the salads. Because
who goes to McDonald's to eat a salad?
Exactly. I mean, that's why they got rid of them. Like people aren't ordering them; they're not going to sell them. And you're right. Nobody's getting the salad at McDonald's. They go there for the coffee, though.
I actually love their coffee.
A lot of people like their coffee.
And actually, it's not terribly expensive to get coffee from there.
Right. No, you're right about that.
It's cheaper to get, if you have a Keurig, it's obviously cheaper to do that. But
I like on Facebook when I see people that, like sometimes when people make friend requests, I want to know a little bit about them if I don't know them that well. So I'll check their likes and their follows and all that. And if they're crazy, obviously you don't accept the friend request. But a lot of people like McDonald's, like social media like. They click like for McDonald's.
Got to give it a like.
But it's just understood to me, I guess. Like we all like McDonald's enough. I don't think any of us love McDonald's. We just accept it as part of our culture.
Can't you just like Facebook on Facebook?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like that's kind of stupid to do.
I don't know. I still want to see Zuckerberg and Elon Musk duke it out.
Well, we all do.
Then I'll decide. So yeah, a fun interview at 6:35 with our friend Sean Katzbeck. He's from my hood. He lives up in Marinette. He's going to be here at 6:30. We'll talk all about this fun event happening in Marinette. And then we switch our attention to comedy in the form of National Lampoon. Jeff Tully is an executive at National Lampoon and does a lot of writing for them. And Jamie Kaler is an actor and the voice of the network. So the two of them are friends. I thought it'd be fun to have them on the show and talk about National Lampoon and what they do there, maybe some of the great movies. And I talked to Jeff. Recently, we were talking about scary movies. And I said, Jeff was a guy who, when I was a stand-up, Jeff was just starting out. I think he was a doorman at a comedy club in Chicago. And he said, hey, what do you think about this joke? And he bounces a joke off me, and it was about how many Friday the 13th they have now. He's like, they have 7 movies now. Like, wouldn't that lake just be bodies right now? It's where they dump all the bodies. So I sent him a message that night. He go, hey, man, I brought up a joke of yours. I don't know what you ever did with this joke. And he goes, I remember that joke. He goes, why don't I come on your show with Jamie Kaler? We could talk about jokes like that all night because all they do is watch Lampoon movies.
Oh,
and like
awesome.
Anchorman and Zoolander and, Vacation's a National Lampoon movie. Animal House, obviously.
Funny Farm.
So Funny Farm. And I think Jeff writes promos for them too. So I'm sure he has to watch a ton of their stuff. I wrote promos for Lifetime TV, the WB, and NBC. And one of the funnest gigs I had was when NBC got the Sunday Night Football game. It moved. I think ESPN took over Monday. So NBC was going to they had their Football Night in America campaign. So I got to sit in the room, bounce ideas off of how to best sell this new concept of the NFL on NBC Sunday nights. And they just looked at me with a strange look every time I suggested something. But it was fun to be in the room. No, that was a really fun campaign to work on. But like on Lifetime, I had to watch so many bad, like My Husband's Cheating movies, and WB. I had to watch like One Tree Hill and all these like Gilmore Girls. And some of the shows were okay. Like, that's not a bad way to make a buck. You watch TV and you write the promos. And I think that's what Jeff does for National Lampoon, too. So those movies would be a blast to watch. Although, like anything, I'm sure you get sick of it. But Jeff's an old friend. He's bringing Jamie Kaler. Jamie was on a show called My Boys years ago on TBS, I think. And it was a great show about a female sports writer, I think. And she was good. The cast was good. I thought it was kind of a good show. I don't know whatever happened. Actually, I think it ran about 4 years, but I enjoyed it. So I'll ask Jamie about that as well. It'll be good to have those guys on the show. That's at 7:20 tonight. And all right, so today is, what is it, Conrad? National Cat Day?
It's Global Cat Day.
Oh, Global Cat, not national.
It's global.
It's not America First. These are world cats. Global Cats Day, and I assume that means like, house cats? But maybe they're talking cougars and tigers. I don't know.
Well, the picture of it was a domesticated cat.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so cats. Those of you listening who have cats, here's our question tonight. Because yesterday I saw this article about people buying, this is insane. I don't know where society is headed, but it says, have we reached peak stupid? Or are you totally buying this? Crocs for dogs will debut later this month.
Buy?
Who's making them? I don't know. Do you know who the maker? Crocs. That's the brand, right?
I'm buying it, though, if I had a dog.
Well, don't you think that would be hard for a dog to fit a dog's paw in a Croc and then four-wheel it and put the strap up?
If you can tell if the dog doesn't like it, it'll tell you. But if it likes it, it'll walk around with Crocs. I mean, that's awesome.
All right, it is. But and have you heard when you put the strap over your heel, that's called four-wheeling it? Like then you're serious, doing some serious Croc work.
And if you put it back, it's called sports mode.
Is that true? Oh, I did not hear that.
Because that's when you can start running.
No. Oh, so you're saying when you lock it on with
when
the
you
strap.
lock it.
That to me is four-wheel.
Oh, that okay.
So which would mean the same as what you're saying. And I can't remember the name for if you put the strap up.
Yeah. We'll have to look
I don't know.
up during break.
But these are Crocs for dogs, and they cost $50.
Okay, never mind. I won't buy.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy Crocs for myself for $50. I have an old pair my son bought years ago, and I said I'd never wear Crocs, and now sometimes I take the garbage out. Occasionally I'll run to the store quickly and throw on the Crocs. But they're making them for dogs now. So it just got me thinking, I don't want to judge. If you want to put a pair of Crocs in your dog, great. Sweater, perfect. Leg warmers, go for it. Nice pair of underpants, cover up. But our question tonight, folks, cats or dogs? Very simple. Where are you at? Are you a dog person or a cat person? I'm allergic to both. If I had to choose, I'd say dog. What about you, Conrad?
I would say dog. I've never owned one. I've had cats.
I've had cats.
That sounded bad. I have never had cat.
Actually.
I really like dogs. And I definitely will eventually own one.
Okay. So it's a very simple question. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Are you a dog person or a cat person? You can certainly explain why, but let us know, and we'll read it on the radio as you know, you can always chime in on anything we're talking about throughout the course of the show here on Nightlight. Some showbiz talk, National Lampoon, some laughs, and talking a fun local event tonight. Sean Katz back here at 6:35 talking Marinette's Blues, Brews, and Barbecue Night on November 2nd. We'll talk about that and share your thoughts as well. That's what we'll do tonight. It's going to be a big community. We're gonna bring people together tonight because that's what we do. And we got to talk about Tony Shalhoub next, too. He's a Green Bay guy. All right, this is Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Well, sat there at the table and acted real naive. Her knew that topless lady had something up her sleeve. Well, she danced around the barroom and she did the hoochie coo. Yeah, she sang her song all night long, telling me what to do. Blow up your TV, throw away your paper.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
yeah,
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
The Dom Salvia Show.
And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
What happens when a woman votes for a man?
Turns into a man.
But that's okay, though.
That's fine.
Yeah, because then she gets control of her body.
Oh.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
The Dom Salvia Show. Weekdays from 4 till 6 on the Civic Media Radio Network and on the Civic Media app.
From the Lake Shore to Lake Winnebago.
Door to Fond du Lac counties.
Northeast Wisconsin is special for many different reasons. I'm Lisa Hale.
And I'm Terry Barr. Family and fun.
Safe communities and friends. We're featuring all of it as part of New Wisco Weekend, a news magazine show just for you, and highlighting what makes the Fox Valley and Green Bay area a great place to live.
Join us.
New Wisco Weekend, Saturday mornings at 8, Sundays at 11 on WGBW and WISS and the Civic Media app.
It's easy to listen to your favorite local radio station anytime. Download the Civic Media app from the Apple or Google Play Store, then listen live or whenever you want from anywhere for free. You are listening to your local Civic Media radio station on air. Thank you. Did you know we are always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app too? And if you missed
Welcome back. All right, so my friend Dave, who refuses to text the actual show, he's in the 414. He says, this is his response, dogs, bruh. Very simple.
Agreed.
Thank you, Dave. Me too. Carol in the 715, a friend of my wife, says, cats, more friendly. She might get some pushback on that. Right?
I would say, I mean, cats are friendly sometimes. But you can get that cat that's just
wants nothing to do with you.
Yeah, it's annoyed that you're around his personal space. They'll whack you.
It's like the cat is the pet, but somehow you're the one imposing. That's what I don't like about cats.
You're in the cat's house.
Right.
That's what has to be remembered.
So, I don't know about that. But, people love their pets. I would go dog. Mark Becker checks in. Hey, Mark. Mark hosts Rational Revolution here on Civic Media. Check it out. He does a great job. Do you still produce that show for Mark?
Mainly it's Todd and Amanda. I produce it sometimes.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
For whatever reason, Mark was here a lot when we started doing this show, and then I think they moved the recording earlier. I had never seen Mark anymore. But
because it went from actually on air to now Saturdays, Saturdays I believe, and Sundays. So
okay. Is
that was a while
me?
ago?
Is Mark
actually.
avoiding me?
I think so.
Okay, I don't blame him. Mark says, "Long live the snack wrap." That's got to be a McDonald's thing, right?
That the snack wrap is one of the best items ever on, but they took it off. They took it off.
It hit the bricks with the salad.
It was just like lettuce, a chicken strip, in like a wrap.
Okay.
And then some ranch. And I there might have been some other veggies on there. I haven't had it in a long time, but it was so good.
That may be, but it doesn't sound like a whole lot of thought went into that menu
But
item.
it tastes great.
Mark also says dogs. Mark Becker, host of Rational Revolution here on Civic Media. Check it out. He's a dog person, and he loves his snack wraps. Mark says, ha, 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 I'm not avoiding. Love the show. I love us. I love that. I don't know if that's what you meant, Mark, but I love us too. Oh, get that? I just called him Bark accidentally because he said dogs. So if you ever became like a dog walker or hosted a show about dogs, you could be Bark Becker. I love that. That's a good gimmick. I know, Mark. I'm just teasing. I do miss you though. It was good to see you here and have our back and forth banter. But one of these days we'll rekindle the old gang. So we have. Here's Anna from the 608 says, I'm a cat person. Cats are more cuddlier than dogs. Is that kind of understood? Or is
I can see, yes. If you do have a loving cat like that, sometimes the cuddles can get too much.
That's the caveat. If you have a cat who likes you, they probably give great cuddles.
I guess if you do have the cat for a long time, like I had a cat growing up that used to live with my grandma, and then we took him, and it took him a couple years to get adjusted to us. And after that, yeah, he was completely fine.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So we got mostly dogs and 2 cats. Anna and Carol are cat people. Mark, Dave, me, and Conrad are dog people. So we'll keep those texts coming.
I'm going to take a poll, and at the end of the night, we'll see who wins.
Sounds good to me. Dogs are up 4-2 right now.
Yes.
So, and if this is a slow text night, like if we don't have the turnout, if people don't go to the polls for dogs and cats, that could decide the election. Do we have that Tony Shalhoub clip?
Yes, we do.
Is it from Quick Change?
Yes.
All right. We disagree. I don't think we played this a couple weeks ago. It was his birthday. He's from Green Bay, De Pere, I think, more accurately. And I'm just a huge Tony Shalhoub fan. I am Facebook friends with him from years ago, but I don't know that he ever checks his Facebook. I don't know him. We've talked twice, but a heck of a nice guy. I would love to get him on Night Lite and talk about his work and find out if he has love for cats or dogs. That would be question number 1.
Exactly.
To be honest, I couldn't care less. But I would love to have Tony on the show. And I think at 7:05 after Sean, we're going to do, I have a little tribute to Susie Essman, who plays Susie on Curb Your Enthusiasm. She's one of the funniest characters, to me, in TV history. She's just hilarious. She plays Jeff Garland's wife, who Jeff plays Larry's manager on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry's funny. Jeff's hilarious. Susie, I believe, came out of Second City. She is absolutely hysterically funny. So we'll do that at 7:05. We have to make sure the video, the audio is completely edited and censored because she has a potty mouth, as they say.
Yes, she does.
But let's do Tony Shalhoub. We never really got to celebrate his birthday properly. He's a local guy. Trying to get him on Night Lite. If you're listening and you know Tony, tell him what a great guy I am and that I reached out to him on Facebook. We did talk in the grocery store on 2 occasions, so he won't remember that. But go to bat for me, folks. I love you, the listeners. This is our show. So let's get Tony on the show. All right, so we have a clip. This is Tony Shalhoub in Quick Change as a cab driver who does not speak English. Bill Murray, Gina Davis, and Randy Quaid are all trying to get out of New York after robbing a bank, and they get the one cab driver who can't speak English.
وراح حردور ها وراح حردور.
He's asking where to.
Oh, God. He just means which airport, that's all. Kennedy. JFK.
Sorry, I got so crazy back there.
What did Loomis say to get you so upset?
Oh, nothing. No, he's completely loyal to you. And you are to him, kind of like father and son, huh? You didn't mention Ratzinger or Martinique because the plan was perfect, and you didn't want to worry me with unlikely contingencies, right? I know I've been especially moody.
Not so as you'd notice.
And I know it's not exactly reasonable to expect a lot of attention under the circumstances. But, you see... Oh, Jesus! The dead airport! What do you got, your ears? Come on!
All right, now, easy. He may be a guest in our country. Friend! Kennedy! Here, look! Kennedy Airport! Look! Yeah! He's got it.
Oh, great. And why don't you take us straight to Sing Sing?
Please don't say that. You're gonna upset Loomis.
Oh, God forbid.
No, please.
Yeah, I know exactly where it is. It's so good.
I'll be right there.
What at Hardo?
Huh? It's red! Stop! Stop! You don't even understand colors, do you? You don't know red from hell! There's a real Kevin! Stop! Taxi!
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW. Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. At least 6 Wisconsin poultry farms are giving away thousands of chickens after an Iowa-based processor suddenly closed last week. Farmers who need help can contact the Wisconsin Farm Center. People are concerned about the ways artificial intelligence can be misused. Joe Dooley is a policy manager for Google. He told the Wisconsin Legislative Task Force yesterday that protections are probably already covered by existing data privacy laws.
If it's illegal for any other company or technology mechanism to do it, it's probably also illegal for AI to do, to cause the same harm.
This summer, the governor's AI task force recommended K-12 digital literacy training, help for people who lose their jobs to AI, and investing in more research. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. After meandering to different locations over the past 2 years, the Appleton Public Library is ready to make its last move, the one home. In May of 2022, the library started a $40 million renovation. All the books and services were moved to an empty Best Buy building. Then at the beginning of this year, they had to move again to East College Avenue. On November 25th, that temporary location will close as staff moves everything back to 225 North Oneida Street. The library will reopen in early 2025. After conducting a vice and narcotics search warrant, Oshkosh police arrest 5 people from a home in the 600 block of Seep Avenue. Police had received numerous complaints of drug activity at that address. The people arrested ranged in age from 33 to 40 years old. They were arrested on a variety of charges, including maintaining a drug dwelling, delivery of methamphetamine, possession of meth, possession of fentanyl, and possession of drug paraphernalia. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Actor, activist, and Wisconsin native Mark Ruffalo literally walked the walk in support of Native Americans voting. Ruffalo participated in a Walk to the Polls event with the Navajo Nation activist Allie Red Horse Young. The Oscar-nominated actor has supported Native American issues for years. Yahoo Entertainment reports that the walk took place in Fort Defiance, Arizona, and was 3 miles long. The purpose? To urge Indigenous people in Arizona to go to the polls. You would think a high-profile gig like hosting the Oscars would not be hard to fill. It seems people who are good at it get tired of doing it, possibly because one joke can get you slapped in the face by an irrational actor husband. The search for a host for next spring's Oscars broadcast is on, and according to Deadline, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds are being considered. The duo starred in the film Deadpool, which has become one of the highest-grossing films ever. Other celebrities being considered include Dwayne Johnson, Amy Poehler, and Will Ferrell. Billy Farrell would have my vote. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, low in the low 30s. Sunny, breezy, and warmer tomorrow, high low 60s. Sunny with the wind picking up for Friday, high upper 60s. A slight rain chance for Friday night into early Saturday. The weekend temps will stay mild. Right now it's 53.
Looking for a roundup of the day's important headlines in a quick podcast form? Search no more. Find it now at WGBW.FM. Your news just for the Green Bay area. I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News.
The Todd Alba Show.
Some group of kids from Stevens Point were using racial slurs against black and mixed race players on the Eau Claire North team. Let's go to Joe. Let's see.
One of the things that makes this state great is the legacy of Vince Lombardi. He tells his players, you are all equal on my team. Vince Lombardi would never have tolerated that sort of behavior, and he's one of our heroes.
Joe, as you always do, you nailed it.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app.
The first time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
Hey, concerned about those crazy interest rates?
Dressed in blue, see the sky in front of you, and her face is like a sail, white so fair.
Welcome back. Oh, what a fun night. Wednesday, downtown Green Bay, broadcasting statewide here from beautiful City Deck Landing on a great fall night here in the state of Wisconsin. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me. And it's great to welcome to the show someone from my own hood. I don't have a ton of guests from Marinette, but we are on statewide. So occasionally someone comes on from my hometown, is nice enough to grace our airwaves. And I've got one of them right now. And he's the marketing director for the Marinette Community Rec Center. And he joins me now, Sean Katzbeck. Hi, Sean.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. How you doing tonight?
I am doing good. I think if you remember correctly, also, I believe not only am I from your own hood, but my wife actually graduated with you.
That's right.
From Catholic Central.
We talked about that last time, didn't we? That's right.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Oh, that's fantastic. Don't hold our Catholic education against us, Sean. We turned out okay.
Yeah, well, she turned out absolutely perfect, so I've got to believe you're pretty damn good, too.
Well, now you just said that on the radio, so it's official. So I will I will vouch for you. That's so great. It's great to have you back on the show, buddy. So the event is Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, and it's at the Marinette Community Rec Center. This is a big undertaking for you. You're the marketing director. You put the whole thing together, I'm sure with help, but still, that's a lot of heavy lifting. Tell us about the event, Sean.
Yeah, so the event is on Saturday, November 2nd, and basically what we do is we have 6 barbecue competitors who come in and they basically battle for the best barbecue on the bay.
Nice.
Yeah, and then along with that, we have we serve craft beer from Rail House, which, as you know, is award-winning. So
sure.
It is actually quite good beer. And then this year, we're excited. We have 2 stellar blues performers coming in from Chicago.
That's so great. Let's start with, all right, let's break this down. So you've got this great event. You just kind of gave us a thumbnail of the whole thing. Let's talk about your blues entertainment from Chicago, one of the blues capitals of the world. What made you want to go with blue? Other than that it sounds great in the title, what made you go for blues? Because I have to be honest, I was like, first, I thought it was so cool because you don't get to hear live blues or jazz typically in Marinette. And I was like, no way is this coming to the rec center. This is so cool. So what made you decide to go with blues? And how did you track down a blues Hall of Famer like Joe Moss?
Yeah, so Well, let me first answer the first question. And the first answer is yes, it did go very well together, but also just kind of wanted to get away from the normal rock or country band vibe, and wanted to offer something that was a little bit more different, and also the fact that it has the capability to really play to a wide variety. So that was the other reason why.
That's great.
Joe, ironically, I grew up down in Chicago, and Joe and I went to school together.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and so we first met on the wrestling mat in 8th grade. Yes, I did beat him.
And that's when he first learned to sing the blues, when you beat him at wrestling.
When I gave him that forehead crusher. So, and then we became friends because in junior high school, you had all these different junior high schools, and they all come together and go to the same high school. And so we went to the same high school, and we just, he was an offensive lineman, I was an offensive lineman. We just had similar likenesses, and so that's why that's how I got to know Joe. I actually, ironically, had no idea that Joe played the blues until about 4 years ago. I started to see him on YouTube videos, and I'm like, holy cow, I can't believe this.
Oh, that's so great. He probably got worse at wrestling, but better at his craft of being a musician. So good for you, and lucky for us in Marinette.
Yeah. So then what ended up happening is with this show, I said, Joe, I really want to do something spectacular because I really want to kick this up a notch. This is our 4th year doing it. I'd like to have you come, but I'd like you to make a recommendation on, one more blues musician that we could bring in. And Joe recommended a gentleman by the name of Toronzo Cannon.
Yeah.
And so, he said, hey, I played with Toronzo. He's a really good guy. We can definitely get him to do this. So that's the direction I went, trusting him. And Toronzo right now is the #1 album in the nation on the Blues Electric chart, ahead of Buddy Guy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you, Sean, and good for us. It's so great that you're bringing kind of an atypical performer, because you're right. You would expect typically country or classic rock or something like that, but I think there's nothing like live blues is just fantastic. So I think people are going to have a really good time with that. What about, you said it's all right, let's talk about the food now. You said it's a competition. How does that work?
So what basically we've done is we are having the just different dignitaries, people who are from other areas. I'd love to have you, Pete. If you want to be a judge, you let me know. I'll make you a judge.
Oh wow, okay, that sounds fun.
And so basically, this is going to be a brisket challenge.
Nice.
And I'm sure you've heard of some of these names. Primal Elite has won this now for 3 years in a row. They'll be competing. Pitt Brothers, which is over in Menominee, Michigan, they'll be competing. There's a gentleman who actually has a smokehouse and does a lot of rib stuff up in Iron Mountain. That's called Smokelers. They'll be there. And then we have 2 food trucks, the Tasty Traveler, and also Jack's Fry Shack. Both of those are in Marinette. And then lastly, there's a gentleman who I think is our dark horse here. If you will, he's our Chicago Bears of the NFC. Nobody's picking him to win. and that is BS Barbecue, which is out of O'Connell Falls. But this guy, Blaine is his name. Blaine has won some very big competitions nationally.
No kidding. Wow. This sounds like a real, like an absolute blast. And it almost sounds like you need more than 5 hours. You're going from 5 to 10. You got live music, 2 different artists playing, and then you've got this cook-off. How are you doing it, like, with the rec center, Sean? Are you using the pickleball courts and the basketball courts?
Yes.
Do you have stuff cordoned off? How does that work?
Yeah, so we will use that middle court area, exactly. It's called the activity hall.
Okay.
And what we do is we set up the barbecuers on the wall, on the one side wall. And what's really cool, this is kind of unique and different, is what we do is if you have a VIP ticket, you get a free sample from every single barbecue person. You also get a free beverage of your choice, and then you also get what's called a VIP pit passport, and that allows you to vote for the fan favorite.
Wow. All right. That is a lot. There's a lot going on. This just sounds like a blast. Here's what we're going to do. My guest is Sean Katzbeck. He's the marketing director for the Marinette Community Rec Center, a great facility that we have up there in Marinette. So happy to have it. We're going to give away some tickets. So if you text us, we can give you 2 tickets. All you have to do is say, I'm in, give us your name, or I want to attend Blues, Brews, and Barbecue, and these tickets are yours. So let us know, and it's going to be a great night. Sean, let's talk about the brew. You said Rail House. I got to be honest. I'm not necessarily a beer drinker, but I tried, but someone shared a blueberry beer from Rail House with me once, and I was like, I don't even like beer necessarily to begin with. Now you got blueberries in it, but I tasted it, and it was dynamite.
It's crazy. That is like their favorite, that I've seen, their most favorite beer.
Really?
Yeah, and actually, I just got a email from the Rail House, from the master brewer there. His name is Chris.
Yeah.
And Chris is feverishly trying to re-put together a few beers, but the blueberry one is still on the docket. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's called Out of the Blue.
Yes, you're right.
And it's a blueberry, and it's got this like blueberry toned taste, along with just a great beer taste. It's a great smooth beer, but they being Rail House and Chris, they've won several awards with that beer and also their Silver Cream beer.
Oh yeah,
kind of an homage to Ocano, I guess, used to have a brewery itself. And before I moved to the area, and so they ended up creating that beer from the actual recipe that was handed down.
That's so great. And you're talking about, of course, I think Chris Canine, right? The brewmaster at the
Chris
Rail House. Great
exactly.
guy.
Super great guy.
Yeah, and you say Silver Cream, that takes me back to every time I go into the restroom at the Rail House and I use the urinal, I'm staring right at the Silver Cream beer. They have those posters of all those retro beers. It's so fun. All right, so wow, that sounds like a blast too. So is that a competition, or are they just offering this beer? Do you buy tickets? Do you have to buy the beers individually?
No, that's just, they're just selling those beers outright.
Okay.
And what's kind of cool is that the Kiwanis Club is actually the club selling the beer. 100% of the proceeds goes to autistic children in Marinette who have been vetted and are in need of an iPad. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so that money is used to purchase iPads for autistic children.
That's so great. Okay, so if you are interested in 2 free tickets to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue at the Marinette Community Rec Center, text us at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC, and we will set you up. It's going to be a great night. Sean, what else? what else goes into something like this? You've got all this stuff. Let's talk about the rec center too. Can we keep you for another segment?
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
I got a few
absolutely.
questions because this is the rec center is a great thing for the community up there. I know they hit a couple of speed bumps along the way, but now it's just kind of humming along. You're doing a great job. The rec center is a great facility to have. And of course, Sean, you know what show you're on. I am going to ask you in the next segment what you're watching on TV. So be prepared for that too. And I might have to ask you about Chicago because that's my hometown too. So we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot in common. Sean Katzbeck's coming back. We got a couple more minutes with Sean after this quick break. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
To the talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The Todd Alba Show.
Minority Rule. The author is Ari Berman.
If you look back at Wisconsin history, it gave rise to Social Security and unemployment insurance and collective bargaining. It really personified the idea that no matter what political party you were with, government should work for the common good. And Walker had a very different idea, that government should work for this conservative elite instead.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. The Dom Salvia Show.
Ann Egan Walkoff from Wisconsin Native Vote.
20 years ago, I moved to a suburb of Milwaukee. I went to register, and the woman was like, "You're Indian? Indians don't vote. You can't vote."
What?
So when I'm talking to a group of Native Americans, I tell them that story, and they're like, "What?" And that gets their dander up, and I'm going to go vote for sure.
Absolutely.
The Dom Salvia Show. Weekdays from 4 till 6 on the Civic Media Radio Network and on the Civic Media app.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org.
Welcome back. We are talking with Sean Katzbeck here, who is the marketing director of the Marinette Community Rec Center. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll have a little National Lampoon celebration with one of the writers for National Lampoon, and the voice of the network will be here at 7:20. Right now, we have a few more minutes talking about this great event in Marinette. It's November 2nd from 5 to 10 p.m. Legendary blues artist Joe Moss will be there with Toronzo Cannon also. Joe and Sean went to high school. Sean literally mopped the mat with him in wrestling, but we won't bring that up.
That's because I was scared to death of him.
So, as I understand it, Joe is going to be on the Mino and the Mayor show tomorrow morning. Is that correct?
That's correct, and we're going to get him on your show, too.
Oh, I would love that. He's absolutely welcome. It'd be great to have him here. You said you were from Chicago, Sean. I didn't know that. We have that in common as well. I spent the first 12 years of my life there and then lived there for quite a bit as an adult as well. Where did you grow up?
Oh, so you know that old joke. If you lived in Chicago, you'll know it, and that is I'm from Chicago. I'm actually from the suburbs. So
okay.
I always tell people the caveat is that I was about 30 miles outside of Chicago in a city called Hoffman Estates.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I know Hoffman Estates.
So, we all want to call Hoffman our home. I actually ran into somebody who lived south of Rockford and said they were from Chicago. Now, that's really pushing it.
We're from the far west suburbs, also known as the Quad Cities.
Exactly. But yeah, so I grew up in Hoffman Estates, lived there for 19 years, and then joined the service, and have never been back.
Look at you! And now you're making your home in Marinette a lovely place to live. You met your wife there, I assume, and that's That's exciting. So we are giving away tickets to this event. So if you text us at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC, we've got 2 tickets with your name on it. All you have to do is tell us your name and mention Blues, Brews, and Barbecue. That is happening November 2nd from 5 to 10. Great entertainment, just a really fun night in the Marinette area there with great beer and a cook-off, too, of brisket. Who doesn't love that? So, all right, so you got this competition. What else? And also the proceeds are going to a good cause, autistic children in Marinette in need of iPads. I did some work in the public schools there too, Sean, helping out the educators in that and special ed. And that is a great thing. I don't think people really understand how much these kids need this stuff. So I applaud you for that. Now, where can people get tickets for the event, Sean? And it's $17.50 a person. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's $17.50 for the general admission tickets, and the VIP tickets are $27.50.
Okay.
They can go on our website, which is fishonmarinette.com, and right in the upper right-hand corner, there's a pig. Click on the pig. Take you to what you need to do to get your tickets.
That's great.
Or you can just call the rec center, and they can just take your order right over the phone. So whatever's easiest for you, you can either call the rec center, which is 715-732-2006, or they can go to the website fishonmarinette.com, click the pig, and away you go.
That sounded so awesome and Americana and small town. Go to fishon.com and click on the pig, baby. That's so great.
Fish on Marinette.
So I mentioned before the break, Sean, the rec center hit a couple of speed bumps when they were first building it. It was kind of a struggle to get it to the community. There were a lot of dedicated people that put their time and their money and effort into it, and a couple different mayors. And now it's doing well, right? I mean, we love having it in the community, but how are things going there?
No, it's going really well. Just the facility is a state-of-the-art 117,000 square foot facility that has 3 basically different dedicated rooms. One room, 1/3 of the facility is a turf facility that the turf and everything is the exact same people who put the turf in at the Hudson Center, at the Don Hudson Center.
Okay.
So it's probably about a little bit more than 1/3 of a football field.
Right.
In the middle area, we have the activity hall. The activity hall has 3 basketball courts that can be converted into tennis courts if need be, plus also 4 pickleball courts that are strictly dedicated for pickleball. And then we've painted lines on the last set of tennis courts to create another 2 pickleball courts. So we actually have 6 in there now. And then the ice arena, the ice hockey, that's an NHL size ice arena that we've had every year for the past 3 years. We've had the Gamblers play a warm-up game with Madison, so a preseason game, and then we do a variety of different events. We do live entertainment like this type of event, but also concerts. We just did this past weekend, Pete, MMA. We had professional MMA in there.
I saw that.
Yeah, we have got professional boxing.
Hey,
that
Sean,
comes in.
let's do this more often. We got to connect more often. We're almost out of time now, but we'll next time you come back, let's talk a little TV. We'll talk about more of what's coming up at the rec center. And you guys do great work there. Keep it up. I was in a dodgeball tournament there in February. I was sore.
Oh, yeah, your sister put that on.
That's right. And I was sore until a week ago Tuesday, but I'm still glad I did it. And it was a great event. So
she did great at that. She was awesome.
Hey, man, you have a great night. I'll see you out at the event. I'd love to be a judge. Keep me posted. I'm here if you need me. And thanks so much for your time tonight, buddy.
Thanks a lot, Pete, and hell on wheels. That's what I want.
All right, that's Sean Gatzbeck. Marinette Community Rec Center. Check it out. Blues, Brews, and Barbecue November 2nd from 5 to 10 p.m. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nightlight. More coming up after Civic Media's award-winning news.
This is the talk of Green Bay, WGBW. Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, the president of the Human Rights Campaign joins us at 10:33. J.R. Radcliffe in hour number 2, and this shouldn't be a thing. Join us.
Matt Nair on air, weekday mornings at 10. Matt Nair on air.
She's the fabulous farm babe. She is Pam Yankee. One of the reports that you guys did from last week was about the cow photographers.
When you go to World Dairy Expo, it never ceases to amaze me. Hair dryers, goop for their hair, for their hooves, everything. When it's time for them to go potty, somebody walks around behind them with a bucket. Now that's pampering, if you ask me.
Matt Nair on air, weekdays 10 till noon on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. This is your hometown radio, refreshed, keeping you informed, entertained, and connected locally across the Civic Media Network. You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW 1590 AM Denmark, W250 CV Green Bay, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Lawyers for Lyle and Eric Menendez holding a news conference outside the Los Angeles County Courthouse, calling for the brothers to be resentenced. They were convicted of murdering their parents 35 years ago.
Today we know better. We know that abuse has long-lasting effects, and victims of trauma sometimes act in ways that are very difficult to understand.
Brothers Aunt Joan, new evidence of chronic sexual and physical abuse by their fathers come out. Presidential campaign less than 3 weeks from finishing. Democrat Kamala Harris, Republican Donald Trump doing interview blitzes. At least 3 people died and 4 were critically injured after a Mississippi bridge with workers busy demolishing it collapsed today, says the Simpson County Sheriff. Former One Direction boy band star Liam Payne is dead after falling from the 3rd floor of his hotel room in Argentina, according to state police. He was 31. This is ABC News. It's not just misinformation that is hurting hurricane victims in the South. Fake images online, also duping donors.
The image is heartbreaking and has generated countless views. A traumatized young victim of Hurricane Helene soaked to the skin, sitting in a boat holding her puppy. The problem is that the boat, the puppy, and the little girl are all fake AI-generated images blazing across social media. Officials in relief agencies say such images erode public trust and cut into support for actual storm victims.
ABC's Jim Ryan. Federal judges stopped a program that made thousands of legal voters in Alabama inactive, restoring registration status for both American-born and naturalized citizens ahead of the November elections. Justice Department sued over the program, arguing that it violates a federal law barring the removal of names from voter rolls 90 days before an election. Tennis icon Serena Williams says she had a benign cyst removed from her neck. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Are record energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With limited incomes not keeping up with the lingering effects of inflation, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive in the blistering heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter. While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today and call 1-800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.kwwf.org.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News, your news roundup in quick podcast form. You can find it anywhere at the WGBW website, wgbw.fm.
Civic Media News, I'm Derek Tritz. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Workers at the Miller Brewery in Milwaukee have ended their week-long strike. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
Milwaukee Machinists and Molson Coors have reached a deal. Both the company and the union are expressing satisfaction with the new 3-year agreement. Specific terms have not been made public. I'm Stuart J. Waddles.
The number of absentee ballot drop boxes has gone way down in Wisconsin from 4 years ago. Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf says there were more than 500 drop boxes in more than 430 communities 4 years ago. Now she can only confirm about 78 of them in 42 communities. While that is a steep drop, the number could be higher because there is no requirement for the state's 1,850 local election officials to report the use of drop boxes, according to Wolf. And that's what you need to know. I'm Derek Tritz, and this is Civic Media News.
The Badgers getting ready for the Wildcats. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Badgers head to Illinois to face the Northwestern Wildcats Saturday. Wisconsin with a record of 4-2. Northwestern is 3-3. The Badgers lost to them last season. Head coach Luke Fickell.
It's a really solid football team. I think they do the things they do really well. You know, they're physical. They play well up front. I thought last year they controlled the line of scrimmage, and particularly better than any other game that we played last year. When I say they controlled the line of scrimmage, that's probably me not wanting to say that they dominated us up front on both sides of the ball, but in a lot of ways they dominated us up front on both sides of the ball in a lot of other areas.
NFL, the Packers have released their rookie place kicker, Braden Narveson, after just 6 games. Narveson was leading the league in missed field goals. They've signed veteran kicker Brandon McManus, who spent 8 seasons with the Broncos before joining the Jaguars. The 49ers have signed former Packers place kicker Anders Carlson as a backup while their kicker recovers from a shoulder injury. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, low in the low 30s. Sunny, breezy, and warmer tomorrow, high low 60s. Sunny with the wind picking up for Friday, high upper 60s. A slight rain chance for Friday night in early Saturday. The weekend temps will stay mild. Currently 51 degrees.
Todd Albaugh.
Hey, everybody, join us next time. We'll break down Vice President Harris's interview with Fox News and a what's worse. Be here.
The Todd Albaugh Show. Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right.
And now, a guy who writes checks his mouth can't cash, Pete Schwaba.
All right, let's do this, man. We are in hour number 2 of Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, broadcasting statewide in the beautiful state of Wisconsin from gorgeous downtown Green Bay on an actual fall night that actually feels like fall. This is not as bad as yesterday was, though. Yesterday was downright damn cold.
It was.
It was in the. It's so weird, though, when you hear people in Wisconsin complaining about high 40s in mid-October. That's not really that far off. I mean, it was cold, but
you know what's funny is when
suck it up.
When we get that weather going from winter into spring, we're happy about it, though.
True. Exactly. You're wearing shorts.
Exactly.
Probably with a jockstrap underneath.
Well, I always rock one.
You just never know. Okay, so that was fun talking to Sean. We got some tickets to give away. Conrad will check the text line 773. We got your request for tickets for Blues, Brews, and Barbecue for a family of 5. Can we do that, Conrad? I think we can do that, right?
Yeah, we can make that work.
Sure. Thank you, 773. We'll need your information. How does that work, Conrad? What do we do?
Well, I'll get the information. Don't worry about
You'll
it.
get the information. Oh, he's on it. Okay, very cool. He says, or she from the 773 says, we used to go to a Blues, Brews, and Barbecues event in Napa, California when we lived out there. It would be awesome to check the Wisconsin event out. Probably not that much different, just a little cooler weather. Mike from Green Bay is the proud recipient of 2 tickets to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue as well. People don't mind road tripping up to Marinette. I think that's kind of cool. Well, it's free tickets, too.
that
People
helps.
love free stuff, right?
Oh, you gotta love free stuff.
All right, Sean, we're working for you. Sherry says, I'm from Lockport, Chicago. Yes. Way to shoehorn yourself into the city of Chicago, Sherry. That's awesome. But that's what everybody down there says. I'm from Chicago, too. Really? Where about? Rockford? No, that's not Chicago. That's like me saying I'm from Milwaukee, and I live in Marinette. So we got Mike all situated. Jim from Appleton answering our question of the night. He says, I love both cats and dogs. Because of my work schedule, I can be away from home for 48 hours. I have cats because they are more self-sufficient, put out enough food and water, and have a clean litter box, and they are good to go for days. That's true. All right, I didn't think of that. Because it is International Cat Day, folks. But then we saw that people are buying Crocs for their dogs, which is just really downright weird. So that's our question tonight. Cats or dogs? Very simple. A much simpler question tonight than what we usually do.
So is that a vote for cats?
That's one for each.
Okay, I'll put one
All
for
right.
each then.
Steve from Florida says, I'm a cat person. When we moved off the family farm, I brought a kitten with us from the farm because I thought Conrad and his older brother, Asa?
You
Am I
got
saying
it?
that right?
You got it?
Asa loved the cat. Rascus? Am I saying
And
that right?
That's Ace's doing in the name, too.
There's no K in Rascus, though. That's what I can't understand.
Right.
Became our family animal for their full duration at home. Rascus lived for 20 years. What I found out years later is the boys would have preferred a dog. The benefits of owning a cat compared to a dog is that you can leave them for a couple of days as long as they have food, water, and a clean kitty litter. It's not kitty litter box. It's just a clean kitty litter. Is
Just the box.
Okay.
Unopened. They got it.
Sherry says, hi, Pete and Conrad. Hello, Sherry. Great to have you with us. She says, dogs and cats. So it's a very simple question, but it's turning into kind of a fun poll. So that's great. Okay, so tomorrow night on the show, it's our popcorn pick of the week. Eric Hulse from Colonel Popcorn in the Wisconsin Dells will be joining us to give you his movie pick. And then later in the show, Bob Dennis will be here, Mafia expert. We're going to be talking mob movies tomorrow night, so that'll be fun too. And then Friday night, of course, is Bar Band Friday night with Terry Barr, and Freaky Friday, at least up until Friday, or up until Halloween, I should say. So we'll do some scares and some great new music on Friday night. So that's all coming up on Nightlight. So, all right, Curb Your Enthusiasm dropped yesterday, I believe, is the anniversary. Or was it Larry David's birthday? I can't remember. Or was it Susie Essman's birthday?
Yes, I believe it was
Susie Essman's
hers.
birthday. Okay. So we found two. She is my favorite character by far on Curb, and I love Larry David, love Jeff Garlin, but Susie Essman is so funny, and her character is hilarious on the show. So I found 2 clips that I really like of Susie Essman. Let's do the first one. How do you have them lined up so far?
They're actually combined.
Oh, they're combined. Okay, perfect. So this is Larry refusing to take a tour.
That one's the second one.
All right.
So the first one is when they're outside in the driveway,
and they've taken the head off Jeff's daughter's doll, and Susie finds out about it, and she's furious, as she often gets. So that's the first clip, and then Larry refusing to take a house tour, which just embodies all the awkwardness of the show. These are 2 clips back to back. Here we go. Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Where's the head? I know you took the doll's head. Where is it? Where's the head?
I don't know.
The kid is home, hysterical, because her doll, Judy, has been decapitated. Because you 2 sickos took the head for God knows what reason. Some voodoo you're doing. Where is it? Stop scratching your balls and tell me where it is. All right, just get me the head, all right? Get me the head, all right? Both of you, because I've had it, you 4-eyed And you fat piece of get me the head!
Hey, La.
Hey, yeah.
Is this something?
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
We're so happy
it's a
here,
beautiful
aren't we,
house.
honey?
We sure are.
So come on, I'll give you the tour.
You know what? That's okay. I get it.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, it's bedrooms, bathrooms. I get it. I see it. It's beautiful. It's great.
You don't want a tour?
You don't need to walk me
All right,
around.
get the out of my house, okay, Larry? Just get the out right now.
All right, fine. I'll take the house tour.
No, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm turned off. Leave. Get the out, okay? Freak of nature doesn't want a house tour.
Susie, I'll take the house.
No tour for you.
I will have lunch tomorrow, don't forget.
Okay, lunch tomorrow.
Oh, it's so great. Such a great show. Did you watch you haven't really seen the show, have you?
No, but I'll say that was a hilarious clip. It had me editing in there, stressing.
Yeah. A lot of swears. So that's great. So that was Susie Espin. And then we have, we got National. We're going to talk National Lampoon tonight, but I don't want to do the Chevy Chase clips yet. I don't know if we should.
I got 3 of them.
All right.
So you name it, and I'll play.
You got one from Vacation?
I do.
All right, let's do some Chevy Chase from Vacation in honor of our guests coming up at 7:20. National Lampoon writer Jeff Tully and voice of the network and actor Jamie Kaler will be here in just a few minutes. So here is a National Lampoon clip with Chevy Chase.
This
or is it not National? Is it from Vacation?
It is from Vacation. I just wanted to say, this is when the dog is leashed to the car.
It happens.
Well, officer, whatever it is I've done, I'm sure I can explain. Explain this, you son of a... Oh, my God. You know what the penalty for animal cruelty is in this state? No, sir, I don't. Well, it's probably pretty stiff. Oh, you can't think I'd do this on purpose, sir. Look, I tied him to the rear bumper when I was packing the car. It was very confusing. I must have forgot. I'm very sorry. I feel terrible. How do you think that little dog feels? Look, I told you I was sorry. It really was an accident. Yeah. Well, I guess I can buy that, sir. But it is a shame. I had a pooch like this one when I was a kid. Poor little guy. Probably kept up with you for a mile or so. Tough little mutt. Yeah.
I was afraid you'd get pulled over, Clark. You've been exceeding the speed limit for thousands of miles.
Dad wasn't speeding. The cop stopped us because Dad forgot to...
He was speeding, Rusty.
No, he wasn't, Mom.
Russ, listen to your mother. I was speeding. I was driving like a maniac. We can all be grateful to this man for stopping us. You see, kids, a car...
Here's the lease, sir. I'm going back to get the rest of the carcass off the road.
Thank you, officer.
See you.
Have a nice day.
So great. And Emma Jean Coca as Aunt Edna. I actually thought when I first saw that film, I was probably, I don't know, middle school, and they had the grandma, Aunt Edna, sorry, I should say, on the roof. And I thought, it kind of took me out of it.
Really?
And now I see it, and I think it's one of the funniest things I ever saw. But for some reason, like as a 7th grader, I was too good for that moment in Vacation. An absolute masterpiece, top to bottom. I don't know what my problem was.
I can't remember the first time I saw Christmas Vacation, but I love that movie ever since I saw it.
I like it too, but I don't think it compares to Vacation. I think Vacation is funnier, pound for pound.
Yeah.
You know. Here's another thing I thought was interesting. Al Pacino, not a lot of people know this, but when he was in The Godfather, he and Diane Keaton, in between takes, thought they were ruining their careers. They thought it was a silly movie. And this is a movie that Francis Ford Coppola had to fight to get Al Pacino in because the studio, Paramount, wanted Robert Redford, which I cannot see. I mean, I'm so glad that didn't happen. Maybe Redford would have been really good. Redford is like blonde, blue eyes, even in The Sting, where he's like this Chicago street hustler. I was like, wow, that's an interesting cast. And he's a really good actor. And Paul Newman's phenomenal. And they were great. Because of his acting, you bought it. But I don't think I could ever have seen him playing Michael Corleone. We'll ask Bob Dennis about this tomorrow night when he's here.
Oh, yeah.
Bob apparently, last time he was here a few months ago, somebody, the person that introduced me to Bob said, he was on My Three Sons, which is a TV show even before my time. And I was like, what? Like, how did that not come up in our interview? Like, he was a childhood actor. Now he lives in Green Bay, and he's like a mob expert. So I know the path people take sometimes, it's fascinating. But I thought that was really interesting about, and Coppola moved up the shooting of the Italian restaurant scene where Pacino shoots McCluskey, I think it is, and the Turk, because he knew Pacino was great in that scene, and he wanted Paramount to see that so they would get off his back. And they did. And the rest is history. Okay, we're going to talk some more movies with two really talented guys, two really funny guys coming up next. They are from National Lampoon. Jamie Kaler and Jeff Tully will be with us right after a very short break here on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And she can't do a thing to me. I just wanna dance the night away with senoritas who can sway. Right now tomorrow's looking bright, just like the sunny morning.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
When it comes to accurate, reliable election information for Wisconsin voters, visit the official site. It's myvote.wi.gov. It's the big cheese, you could say. It's your one-stop source for official Wisconsin election information. Find your polling place, see your sample ballot, make sure your registration is up to date, and more at myvote.wi.gov. Sponsored by Wisconsin Elections Commission, aired by Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Covering all the news that affects you with humor and a unique perspective. Matinaire on Air with Jane Matinaire. Weekdays 10 till noon on the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM WGBW, and on the Civic Media app.
From the Lake Shore to Lake Winnebago.
Or to Fond du Lac counties.
Northeast Wisconsin is special for many different reasons. I'm Lisa Hale.
And I'm Terry Barr. Family and fun.
Safe communities and friends. We're featuring all of it as part of New Wisco Weekend, a news magazine show just for you, and highlighting what makes the Fox Valley and Green Bay area a great place to live. Join us.
New Wisco Weekend, Saturday mornings at 8, Sundays at 11 on WGBW and WISS and the Civic Media app.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Out here in the middle of these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. That's how it feels when you're struggling with your mental health. But you don't have to feel alone. Find more information.
Welcome back to a Wednesday night edition of Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me. Our question tonight is very simple. The simplest question we've ever asked. Dogs or cats? Lay it on us, and I will read your response on the radio. How exciting is that? All right, without further ado, let's get to our next guest. They've been waiting patiently, and they're two great guys. Very excited to have these guys on the show. They both work for National Lampoon in different capacities. Jeff Tully is a writer for the network, and Jamie Kaler is an actor and the voice of the network, and they join me now on Nightlight. Guys, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Dogs. That's my answer.
Without even provocation. I love it. Jeff, what about you?
Don't bury the lead.
Jeff, do you have a dog or cat preference?
Dogs all the way.
Oh,
yeah,
come
on. I mean, crazy. It's weird. Only weird guy. I had a friend who had a cat. He was weird. You go to his apartment, there was a bunch of Siamese cats running around. You're like, Are you a Bond villain? What's happening? I don't get it.
How do we feel about this? Is a California thing, I think, Pete. But how do we feel about dogs in grocery stores? It's kind of bugging me. It's becoming a big LA thing. Post pandemic.
Are they service dogs?
No, I mean, if you ask someone, they are. But they're
By
not.
the way, let's cut to the chase. There's no such thing as a service dog. If I see one more person scam the system to bring their dog onto a plane to go, I don't feel comfortable unless the dog is sitting with me. You're in a tube with 300 other people, brother. What if I have a pet monkey or a rooster, and that I need my rooster, Frank, to get me through the flight around. Here's what I used to be nervous before I had kids, and here's what I'll tell you. Instead of taking a service animal on a flight, take my 2 children for one flight. I guarantee every flight after that will be the greatest day of your life.
Oh, trying to put in a car seat in the airplane with everybody behind you. Oh my God, it's a
with the stroller. Now, when I fly without kids, I go to the airport 3 days early. I just hang. I just hang out. I sleep there. It's the greatest.
They're service kids. Take them with you.
What
I loved about when I had my son, I would put him in the baby Bjorn. We'd walk all around Valley Village where we lived, and I love people in LA are so funny because they love pets more than kids. And I remember one time I went into the store, and this woman comes out and sees my son and gets this big smile on her face and then made eye contact with him. And then she immediately pulled back and got all weird. Like her initial response was, oh, what a cute kid. And then, oh, it's a kid. That's how I felt anyway. I don't know. If it was a dog, it would have been a different story.
So we let my dog right out front. My dog's 20 years old. I have a 20-year-old puggle. We let him right out the garage. I'm right in Studio City, right next to Valley Village. He walks down, but for maybe 15 seconds, I'm still in the garage getting his poop bag. And before I can walk out, 20 cars have almost screeched to a halt, smashed into a pole to stop to go, oh my gosh, there's a dog. What's happening with this dog? And yet then they'll go to the grocery store, step over a homeless person and not think twice about them. Right. Crazy.
That's so funny. It's so
oh
true.
my gosh.
We had, an owl maybe a couple months ago, an owl almost took my dog. Tried to pick him up right in front of my house, right in Studio City.
How big is the dog?
I was walking the dog, and all of a sudden it felt like a jogger ran by me and clipped my ear. It was an owl, full wingspan, huge.
Wow.
He lands on my dog. He stumbles over it. He stands up. My dog is 20. Can't see or hear. Didn't even phase him. He just walked right back up into the garage. The owl stood there next to me. And I was like, he obviously couldn't pick him up. He was like 50 pounds. And I said, dude, he's 20. Give me like 3 months. Let me know where you're going to be. And I'll Uber Eats him. I'll bring him right to your house and feed your family for months on him. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm right on the edge of the hills, and the coyotes here have gotten so cocky. They're like, they're at it like 7 o'clock, and they're like, what? You looking at me?
Yeah.
Got a problem?
We had 2 having relations on my front lawn, howling at 2 o'clock. And if you've never heard coyote sex, it's crazy town on my front lawn.
Conrad, Google coyote sex, will you?
Yeah, you should Google that. Listen, hear what it sounds like.
I want to hear this. Now I'm curious.
It was crazy.
Owls are the jerks, though, of the bird family, I think. That's just common knowledge. But
well, they're cocky for sure. They are. He was huge. He was like maybe 3.5, 4 feet tall. I was shocked at how big. I didn't know owls were that big. And very cool animal.
Yeah, very creepy though too. I could see your consternation. You guys, this is fun having you both here. And this all started because maybe 2 weeks ago, I repeated a Jeff Tully joke premise on the air, footnoted, of course. And I thought, I got to get Jeff on the show. So I reached out, and I'm glad you made it, Jeff, and great to meet you, Jamie. Although I think we met years ago at the Acme Theater, Jeff Lewis and Chip Chinnery. I used to hang out with them sometimes. And you guys,
I just talked to Jeff yesterday. Chip Chinnery, we're really good friends. Jeff and I have done a million shows together. As soon as he said I was like, I know Pete from the day. Yeah. The circle is small.
He wrote a really funny script that a friend of mine and I were trying to produce called Unbearable, and it was about a bear who used to be a human. And he remembers his wife, and he's trying to approach his wife as a bear. And it's just the weirdest, funniest script. And we took it to a couple places, and they said, I don't get it. Like, all right, well, of course you don't. It's hilarious.
It seems like it would fit well into the National Lampoon archive, right? Like that crazy Van Wilder bear that kind of takes. He's like, hey, he goes off on it.
Let's talk about that. You guys both work for National Lampoon. Jeff, you said you talk about. Do they license these films you were talking about, like Zoolander and Anchorman?
We have a deal with Paramount, so we have all the Paramount library of.
Oh, nice.
They're fantastic. I say from A to Z, Anchorman to Zoolander. So in Beverly Hills Cop, just everything you can imagine. Paramount has just an insane comedy library. So that's not to mention a lot of the TV shows like Reno 911 and Drunk History and stuff like that from Viacom. So really cool channel. Just just more than just the National Lampoon. I think people think of the movies, but Animal House and stuff, but these are different movies. It's a much bigger library. It's kind of like the best of great comedy movies. Jamie and I met working at when I was working at America's Funniest Home Videos and did a million shows together. And so when I got the National Lampoon job, it was a very short conversation with my boss who'd worked with them there too, and it was like Jamie's the perfect voice for National Lampoon. I mean, it's just like it's a no-brainer.
I still have that 1980s game show host voice. I don't know if you've ever seen Robot Chicken, but I do the I do the voice of the bloopers host. Coming up next, more crazy bloopers. So it was always kind of in that vein.
All right, we're going to do a quick news break here, and I would love for you to do a promo for Nightlight before you leave with that $1 million voice. All right, fantastic.
Yeah.
Jeff Tully and Jamie
Wait, $1 million,
Jeff?
Jeff, we got to talk about money. Did you hear what he just said?
$70. I'm not fussy.
It's Green Bay. It's in selling keys.
It's like a $20 an hour voice.
All right, we're coming right back. We're coming right back with Jeff Tully and Jamie Kaler on Nightlight with Schwaba.
I heard the music start coming in.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
I was kind of.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Lawyers for Lyle and Eric Menendez holding a news conference outside the Los Angeles County Courthouse, calling for the brothers to be resentenced. They were convicted of murdering their parents 35 years ago.
Today we know better. We know that abuse has long-lasting effects, and victims of trauma sometimes act in ways that are very difficult to understand.
Brothers' Aunt Joan, new evidence of chronic sexual and physical abuse by their fathers come out. The presidential campaign less than 3 weeks from finishing. Democrat Kamala Harris, Republican Donald Trump doing interview blitzes. At least 3 people died and 4 were critically injured after a Mississippi bridge with workers busy demolishing it collapsed today, says the Simpson County Sheriff. Former One Direction boy band star Liam Payne is dead after falling from the 3rd floor of his hotel room in Argentina, according to state police. He was 31. This is ABC News.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
Civic Media News, I'm Derek Tritz. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. 6 members of the Racine City Council are back after a short boycott. A change approved this week takes agenda setting away from the mayor and the clerk and puts it back in the hands of the council. The new system takes effect in about 2 months. A new public service announcement uses humor to spread the word about election security in Wisconsin. Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald partnered with production house Blame Society to create a Star Wars parody for the election security PSA. Here's Savannah Tomei Olson.
Darth Vader. Close. It is I, Chad Vader.
Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald says he was actually advised not to use humor when it comes to election security.
And I think it's important for all of us to try new ways to reach out.
Clerks across Wisconsin need the public to know our elections are safe. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson.
And that's what you need to know. I'm Derek Tritz, and this is Civic Media News.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The Kimberly Area School District will have a new superintendent in the 2025-26 school year. The school district announced Assistant Superintendent Holly Prast will take over when Superintendent Robert Mayfield retires in July. Prast has been the Assistant Superintendent of Kimberly Schools for the past 11 years. Mayfield announced his retirement after 32 years of service at the start of this school year. While fall may be considered football season, the colder temperatures bring the start of basketball too. The Wisconsin Herd, the G-level team for the Milwaukee Bucks, is gearing up for its home opener at the Oshkosh Arena on November 15th. Team president Steve Brandis.
Yeah, we'd love to have you run with the Herd more this season.
The Herd is looking for singers to perform the national anthem before the start of home games. See our story at WGBW.FM for information on auditions this Sunday. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
This is your local civic media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, low in the low 30s. Sunny, breezy, and warmer tomorrow, high low 60s. Sunny with the wind picking up for Friday, high upper 60s. A slight rain chance for Friday night in early Saturday. The weekend temps will stay mild. Right now it's 48.
The Todd Alba Show.
Some group of kids from Stevens Point were using racial slurs against black and mixed race players on the Eau Claire North team. Let's go to Joe. What's he?
One of the things that makes this state great is the legacy of Vince Lombardi. He tells his players, you are all equal on my team. Vince Lombardi would never have tolerated that sort of behavior, and he's one of our heroes.
Joe, as you always do, you nailed it.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local civic media radio station and on the app. The Maggie Dawn Show.
Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Joint Council 389, based here in Milwaukee. They've endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz for president and vice president.
Trump offers nothing to a regular working class person. Talking about not taxing tips and not taxing overtime. Well, you don't have to tax overtime if there is no more overtime. That's in his Project 2025.
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local civic media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
On the next New Wisco weekend, what is joy and how
Bridget from the 818 says cats, they're the pets of the future because they are not as needy as dogs. That's the 818. And then Amanda says she used to get looks when she walked her ferrets. That'll do it. Oh, it's like walking a bearded dragon. Both are more acceptable in public when you walk. Dogs are more acceptable in public when you walk them. Well, yeah. So.
I had a girlfriend who had a chinchilla. And I don't know if you know this about chinchillas, but they are nocturnal animals. So it slept all day, and then it had a wheel in its cage. And just about the time you went to sleep, it started going, zing, 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 zing. And we'd have to get up and then go take a brick and put it on the wheel. So then, like, the chinchilla's like, what? I'm in a cage and I can't use the, like, it was, I go, why? And then I was like, oh, this is why they make coats out of these animals. It makes more sense now. It was very soft. Oh, to hold it, you'd be like, what if I didn't have to feed this thing? What if I just laid it around my neck? And you go, that actually makes a lot of sense now.
Is it like a ferret? Is it like the ferret family or the?
It is. It is very much like a ferret, for sure. And in the same vein of, but yeah, the fur was just fantastic.
Sounds like you're having a moment there, Jamie.
I did. I mean, I had to go to the hospital once. It got stuck. No, that's not true.
That's a different urban legend.
That's a whole different thing.
All right, so
chill out on this subject.
Chill out about it. There it is, the button. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, there's my first question for Jeff. My guests are Jeff Tully and Jamie Kaler. They work for the National Lampoon Network. Jeff is a writer for National Lampoon. Jamie is the voice of the network and an actor. Jeff, when I met you, you were working the door at the Funny Firm. You were just starting to put an act together. You did stand-up. You moved to L.A. You have this great career. You're doing all these cool projects. And now you're executive producing. You're working at National Lampoon. Are you where you thought you'd end up?
Oh, that's a terrifying question.
I'd say it knowing you're doing okay. There's,
It was weird when all you guys were on, I did stand up since I was 16, like you guys, and it was for the listeners, there's a group of 20 deep of Chicago comics, you, Jimmy Pardo, Jimmy Dore, Mike Siegel, Steve Seeger, and all these guys who were like, had been in it a couple of years when I got out of college and back to Chicago. You guys had been doing it a while, and I had taken my break for college, and even when I was doing stand up, like I was working, Brian McCann from the Conan O'Brien. We had a weekly show, and even when I was doing stand up, I always identified with Artie on Larry Sanders' show. I always wanted to be Artie, the guy behind the scenes, running things, telling people what to do.
Yeah.
And I much prefer writing, directing, and I can fake it on stage, but I'll never be like a Jamie, like an A+ comedian. So I was like, well, why be a B- B+ comedian when I could be the puppet master? That's so much more fun for me.
It's so funny because they're just some guys have that temperament, and I could like I knew you were a funny stand-up, but I also, when you say that, I'm not surprised because you have that kind of mellow, nothing riles you kind of, and that's how you have to be as a producer, right?
I think when you have extreme ADHD, you're drawn towards jobs where you have to put out fires a mile a minute. That's producing. Producing is basically just being a fireman and a plumber at the same time. Everything is going wrong. You're getting blamed for everything, and it's so much fun for me. It's like Tetris,
Jamie, you've been on a lot of fun sitcoms in addition to your work at National Lampoon. You were on a show called My Boys, which had a nice run. And
it did, and it was very Chicago. It was a Chicago show, and I remember throwing the first pitch out at Wrigley, and we actually shot on Wrigley Field. I had to run the bases at Wrigley for an episode, and we drank all over town. I mean, we shot there, and then like by day 3, the producer had to come to us and go, "Listen, you guys look like drunken corpses that floated ashore. We're shooting a television show. You've got to stop staying out till 5 a.m." But that sounds dangerous. That was a big one. But back in the day, I did Friends. I did Will and Grace, King of Queens, Parenthood. I've done a lot of sitcoms. The last few years, I was on Tacoma FD with all the Broken Lizard guys: Steve Lemmy, Kevin Heffernan, Paul Soter. So you asked him, "Are you exactly where you are, where you thought you'd be?" And no one ever is. I think in Hollywood, the trick is to ride waves. Everyone said you get an amazing wave and then it has to end. Like sitcoms, like I remember when My Boys ended, all of a sudden you're testing for other stuff. It doesn't quite take off and then something else goes. But, to hold a career down for as many years as Jeff has in this town, I think it's you ride these crazy waves where you're on this unbelievably successful show and it's gold and everyone knows you and they're reaching out. And then all of a sudden you're looking for the next gig and then it comes around. So the beauty of stand-up is that you can always, it's the only thing you can control. Because obviously right now the business is contracting a little bit and going off to do the streaming stuff with National Lampoon was a gift. I mean, that was all of a sudden we're on this crazy ride with that thing. And I just went into the dry bar comedy. Jeff's back doing some comedy nights. And I think it's just about projects, about catching on a project that's super fun, like anywhere else where you just, you change from job to job. I'm always excited to do the next job.
That's a great outlook. And you said that perfectly. No one really ever is where they think, unless you're like, Leo DiCaprio or someone. It just doesn't happen that way. But
even then, all he's thinking about is who's the next 25-year-old Israeli model. So even he's always looking for the next project. It just doesn't.
I learned my lesson
old for him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, when it comes to that, I learned my lesson really. I got really lucky in LA. Like within 2.5 years, I just kind of stepped into a show running job with basically no experience. It just came down. It was for Fox Sports. It was called Fuel TV. The channel was Extreme Sports, and I only got the job because I had worked a little bit on Best Damn Sports Show writing and stuff. But the guy who ran Fuel TV was from that. But I only got the job because I knew a little bit about skateboarding and BMX and stuff like that. I mean, and the other comedians didn't. And it was a daily show, and that lasted for 7 years. And when it was over, we had, I don't know, maybe 60 employees, and everybody, 7 years, it got canceled. They moved on, they changed their format at Fuel and stuff. And I was so, I was so depressed. And I went to one of my producer friends that I really respect, who'd been in the business a long time. And I'm like, man, I feel like I let everybody down. The show got canceled. He's like, Jeff, you ran a show for 7 years. That doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen. Yeah, 4 years, you're lucky, you know. I mean, so that's the lesson is like you what Jamie said is you have to know that everything ends and everything begins in this business. I mean, there's no, I call it house cat syndrome. You can't get comfortable.
Well, Pete, you're the same. I mean, you're an established filmmaker, dude. I mean, everyone, just to let everyone know how hard it is to get any film made. I mean, it's shocking to see. And you hear the stories. I heard you talking about The Godfather. That thing almost went away a million times.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Then they had to work a deal with every film that ever gets made is like kismet. And so, you know, as a filmmaker yourself, you must have those moments where you're like, it's crazy working. And then, you know, you'll always for the next. But that's what I love about this job. I'm always amazed when somebody stays, you know, at a factory for like 50 years and kudos to them to have that stability and to be able to do that and get the gold watch at the end. But for me, even doing stand-up, Jeff and I talk about going on the road and doing the same jokes like week in, week out, 50 weeks a year. I've always been very lucky that I could do voiceover. I could do acting. I could do some stand-up and podcast. And I mean, it's kind of probably hurt me too, because sometimes if you're not in the same lane the whole time, people don't know you and you kind of fade away. But and then people go, wait, you were in this and this. And then you're like, yeah. I mean, I like the challenge of changing up and doing stuff because honestly, I get bored. I mean, ADHD probably as well, where I'm just like, I can't tell the same joke over and over and over again. I have to like throw it out and move on to the next one.
That's a really great. And if I have an issue with if there is something I could do over, I would pick a lane because I've did stand up, I did some acting, writing, and now I'm doing this, and it's like I get bored too, and I'm like I need a new challenge, and if millions of dollars aren't rolling in, I'm going to try to find something fun, and it's not rolling in, by the way, but so. Yeah, and it's interesting because when I moved to LA, I booked a show, Gaffigan, your My Boys co-star.
He was in My Boys, yeah.
We got cast in this VH1 show as the two leads. We shot the pilot in New York. It gets picked up. Within a week, I get a phone call from Gaffigan, a message. I call him back. I go, what, did we get canceled already? And he goes, yeah, we did.
Yes.
The pilot didn't even air. And I went into a depression for like 3 months, and everyone's like, dude, that's common.
Yeah.
You're not, and so when things happen, something happens easy like that. I want to tell people that's not real. You're going to have setbacks, and it's really the journey, I think, in my own experience as a fellow ADHDer.
Yeah. I mean, very few people are Ashton Kutcher. Comes to town, auditions for 2 shows, books them both, chooses the 70s show, and you're like, he's off and running. Been in town like 6 days. It doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't ever happen.
So anytime you have any success, because I also know, a ton of people from my friends at Acme Comedy Theater who are off doing other stuff now, because to hold a career together in any creative art form, whether you're painting or making music, but that's the lifeblood of it, right? To sit and to write a joke or make a movie and show it to people. And there's that nervousness of like, will people like what I made? I mean, that's the challenge. And so it's more of a quality of life thing than it is trying to monetize. You want to monetize, but
my son,
but I love the creativity
right now. He'll have a good set and he'll go, oh my God, he's on top of the world. And then a week later, he's like, Dad, I don't get it. What I go, I don't know what to tell you. You just got to keep doing it. That's the process,
Yes.
Jeff, you and I probably have a lot of KP Anderson. I worked on Sports Soup for a while. Andrew Genzer.
I just worked with KP at the Asheville Comedy Festival last month. So yeah, got to see him.
So
Genzer, yeah.
Where can people find the national? Is it an app on Roku they can download?
Yeah, it's
how do they see your program?
They call it fast channels now. That's what they call it. So when you go on Pluto, Roku, Plex, Tubi, Freevee, I could just keep making up names if you want. Bing Bong, Ding Dong.
Those
Sing
are actually
Song,
all real,
Long.
except the last one.
Yeah, and they're real now. They just started trending, so they're all they just got bought by Warner Brothers. So anyway. There's a million of them, Tubi, Freevee, all that stuff, Pluto, Samsung, Roku, your smart TV has them. And basically just look, it's a funny thing how this is a great example of how everything works. We went away from cable, right? And now we're back. If you look at Pluto, Roku, all those fast services, it looks like old school cable. It's just a live channel guide. For me, it's much more comforting than Netflix to go through the channels, and like I love that format. So, and there's no surprise, it's become extremely successful over the past couple of years. When I was at AFE, we were the first ever fast channel to make all original content, and now now 4 years later, everybody's getting into the game and trying to start a channel, and it's just basically a new version of cable, but now it's on your phone.
Oh, that's great.
But it's funny. That's why I honestly, I'm pretty lucky that Jeff's dragging me along to do these kinds of things, because I'm still a dinosaur. Like, all I ever wanted to do was I wanted to be Sam Malone on Cheers, and I wanted to go do stand-up during the hiatus, right? Like, that to me was the dream, because doing a sitcom, you get the script on Monday, you do a little play, you shoot it on Friday, have some drinks, back Monday. Like, that to me was the dream. But what's happening is, what Jeff's on top of is this, it's content, really. And so people aren't even watching TV. My kids don't watch TV shows. They're watching personalities, and those personalities need content. And so basically you're making a show, but you're not making a 4-camera sitcom. You're making a show about somebody or something that's very specific to that streaming service. And I mean, Jeff's really been at the cutting edge of it and has dragged me along for the last couple of years of these amazing projects that I get to be a part of.
Well, so it's a fun combination of old and new technology. I just found out today when I was leaving the office that the Eddie Murphy marathon on Sunday was like what our highest rated day. It's Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, 3, all this stuff, and it's so funny because it's new technology, but it's this comfort. I'm sure there's a bunch of 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds and up who've never seen Beverly Hills Cop original, and they were like, oh, so it's a nice blend of the two worlds,
But look what we're doing right here. I do a show on StreamYard as well. We do the Parents Lounge on StreamYard.
Hey, Jamie, hold that thought. When we come back, we're going to do a real quick thing. We'll pick it up right there when we come back. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, Jamie Kaler, and Jeff Tully hanging out with me on Nightlight.
Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for Matt Nair on Air.
As a federally licensed broadcast company, this civic media station is required by FCC regulations to accept advertising by all qualified candidates for federal office. We also accept ads from state and local candidates. We do screen announcements from issue groups and PACs and exercise discretion in airing announcements with blatantly false claims or outrageous, unfounded statements. These announcements do not necessarily reflect the views of civic media, its hosts, or advertisers, and the source of all issue announcements can be found online at our FCC public file.
The Todd Alba Show.
Minority Rule. The author is Ari Berman.
If you look back at Wisconsin history, it gave rise to Social Security and unemployment insurance and collective bargaining. It really personified the idea that no matter what political party you were with, government should work for the common good. And Walker had a very different idea, that government should work for this conservative elite instead.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local civic media radio station and on the app. The Dom Salvia Show.
And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
What happens when a woman votes for a man?
Turns into a man. But that's okay, though.
That's fine.
Yeah, because then she gets control of her body.
Oh.
You see what I did there?
Yeah.
The Dom Salvia Show. Weekdays from 4 till 6 on the Civic Media Radio Network and on the Civic Media app.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on Earth. And sometimes, that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Trouble sleeping, your mind racing. So what do? We get help. There are people in our community who are here for us. Sometimes, just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's love.
My guests are the voice of National Lampoon right now, actor Jamie Kaler, and National Lampoon writer and executive producer of many other projects, and stand-up comedian Jeff Tully are joining me here tonight for just a few more minutes. Jamie, Conrad's favorite show is How I Met Your Mother, and my message to you is just the window is open.
The window is open, baby.
Okay.
One of my favorite things I've ever done. It was really fun to be on that show. I always forget about that one too. It's crazy that, we talk about it. It was like, I remember you book it, you go shoot it, and then the next week you're like, oh, that's right, I did. It's like a 5-day thing. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Jeff, you did something with Will Smith. You did a video, The Jump.
Yeah, I didn't kill Will Smith. I was in because of my extreme sports background from the Fuel and stuff and Fox Sports. I was they put way too much faith in me, but it was a YouTube live event. Will Smith, for his 50th birthday, jumped out of a helicopter over the Grand Canyon.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually Grand Canyon adjacent because of rules couldn't do it in the actual Grand Canyon, but it was right next door. And yeah, he jumped out of a helicopter on a bungee cord, and he lived. So I get credit for him making.
Was he farting the whole time from the helicopter into the canyon? Did you read that story about?
I did, with Tommy Lee Jones in the Men in Black car.
And as he's ripping one, he says, "I'm sorry" to Tommy Lee Jones. That almost made me like him a little more after the Chris Rock thing, but I still can't get there.
You can still see some of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like, to his credit. The guy he wasn't an actor, he was a rapper, but in some of the early episodes, you can see his mouth saying the other lines of the other actor.
Oh, serious? That's so great. That sounds like a drinking game almost or something.
Yeah.
Jamie, you were in the middle of saying something when we went to break.
I don't know. It's probably garbage.
You were talking about your dad lounge.
I got 2 kids. Oh, I do the parents' lounge. So it's funny, too, because my wife's out of town with one of my kids. She went back east for a family visit. And so I have my one daughter literally in the other room where I have to go go watch TV. And I have her iPad here because otherwise it'll drain the Wi-Fi. So I steal her iPad.
Nice.
I'm a 60-year-old guy with a 9-year-old kid. I'm hanging on by a thread.
No way are you 60?
My favorite.
60. Whoa. I just turned 60 2 weeks ago, man. No, this is just AI. This is a puppet head. I'm in the other room moving levers. It's not happening.
Talking about kids and technology, Jamie, tell Pete what you were telling me about the difference between your generation and your kids' generation when they go out to events and stuff like concerts. And they don't.
Oh, well, yeah. I always, as a 60-year-old, I always tell people, I go, having kids at my age is like getting a DUI just as you pull into the driveway. You're like, dude, I was almost home. I was so close, officer. This is my yard. And he's like, no, man, you're under arrest. And your punishment is you're going to be bankrupt and tired for the rest of your life. But
my gosh.
I didn't have, I have to tell my daughter I grew up without a cell phone. Because, when I was a kid, if you went to a concert and you lost your friends, you made new friends. That's how that show went. Sometimes those friends turned out to be cooler than your old friends, and they became your friends because you had social skills that can talk to people face to face and maintain eye contact. It was a weird time.
We got someone who's got your back here. Amanda Nimmer says, "No regrets walking my ferrets on walks, and chinchillas bathe in sand."
It's true.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they're so soft. They got a nice, like a sand, a suede stone where they rub their fur or something. But yeah,
that's lovely. It's so weird because I tell my kids that too. Like, I try not to be that dad where I'm like, I didn't have cell phone. That's all just when we were born. We have no control over it. So those idiot parents who say, when I was a kid, well, when I was a kid, if I was a kid now, I'd be doing the same thing the kids are now. This is not a superpower we all have. We were just born when we were born. And the minute I say, put your phones down, the second I move and I pick up my phone because I can't live without my phone either. So it's like one of those traps.
We signed a pledge for my 11-year-old, and all the parents pledged we would not buy our kids phones until high school. And so I felt bad for her. She was kind of angry and she wanted a cell phone. So on the way to and from school, I would let her play music on my cell phone in the car. And I don't know if you know how algorithms work, but now my phone thinks I love Taylor Swift. And so I just get all this Taylor Swift merch, ads, and Travis Kelce updates. And then I have to sit there and go, oh, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. I need to shake it off. So
I have a 13-year-old daughter. I know what you're referencing.
Dude, the problem is they're on an iPad. like she doesn't even have books. The iPad is the book.
Right.
Can you imagine if you were in high school and you were 3 clicks from gratuitous bad videos that young men should not be watching, and you were trying to do your homework and you're like, well, if I just touch this button and this button, I'm going to get I'm going to watch a party happening. And I would never got through high school.
That's what we used to say. I used to plan sleepovers with friends around R-rated movies. Like you plan it a month ahead of time. Animal House is on at the end of the month, and now it's like you just click a button. But
just the nude scene in Airplane, you'd be, where she just runs across the screen. You were like literally waiting for that. I remember you'd have the scrambled signal, and you'd kind of catch. You're like, I think I saw a breast on Skinamax. Was that a breast on?
Hey guys. This was so fun. We got to run. I cannot thank you enough for the time tonight. Great fun. I hope we could do this again soon. And thanks for the laughs. And be careful pulling into your driveway. I don't want to see any.
I appreciate it, brother. Super fun, Pete. Great to reconnect with you, man. And congrats on the show. Super fun.
Jeff, thanks for setting this up, buddy. Well, let's talk soon.
My pleasure. Take care.
Okay, guys. Have a great night. That's Jamie Kaler, the voice of the National Lampoon Network, and Jeff Tully, National Lampoon writer and executive producer. 2 great guys hanging out at Nightlight. It was fun. I'd also like to thank Sean Katzbach and all of you who won tickets. That's going to be a great night in Marinette. So Conrad has your information. Maybe we'll try to do a giveaway tomorrow. Dogs won our poll, by the way, 10-6. Not a huge traffic tech night, but a pretty decisive win for the Dogs.
It was, yes.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow night with Bob Dennis and our popcorn pick of the week. This has been Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, and on behalf of the lovable producer, Conrad, good night, Wisconsin.
I'll take you to your best friend's house, mama.